Have you ever wondered why you always feel different? From a young age, it seemed like there was an invisible wall separating you from the world around you. Others fit in easily, but you never quite could. They walked through open doors, while you only saw tightly locked ones. You searched for belonging, but the harder you tried, the more you faced a painful truth. You were not made to blend in. How many times have you trusted someone, gave them your whole heart, only to have that same person break it? How many times have you smiled in a crowd, while deep inside there was an emptiness no one could see? How many nights have you sat alone in the dark, asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why am I not like them? But the answer was never out there. The answer was always within you. You were different because you were chosen. The chosen do not walk an easy path. Easy roads create weakness, but destiny demands strength. The path you walk is no accident. Every closed door, every rejection, every scar was not meant to destroy you, but to shape you into a soul strong enough to carry something greater. There is a line that echoes from the Bible like a whispered secret. The Lord confides in those who fear Him. Psalm 25-14. Yes, every moment of isolation you endured, every silent tear you cried at night, it was all part of the covenant. Not punishment, but protection. You were hidden, covered, kept in the shadows until the right light would come. Imagine a small seed lying still in the soil. Outside, the sun still shines, the rain still falls, the seasons still turn. But the seed has not yet sprouted. It stays in the dark, silent and alone. If it rushed out of the ground too soon, the sun would scorch it, the wind would tear it down, the storm would crush it. Darkness is not the end. Darkness is the cradle. And you are the same. You have been in the dark, in silence, in pain. Not because you are weak, but because the universe has been nurturing you. A seed cannot skip the darkness. It must endure it to become a tree. And you, a chosen soul, cannot skip that journey either. I know there have been moments when you almost gave up. You watched others move forward while you stayed stuck. You saw them succeed while you faced only failure. You compared yourself, then cried in pain, asking, why did God abandon me? But you were wrong. He never abandoned you. It is in that silence that He was preparing you. It is in that loneliness that He was refining you. The rejections you faced were not denials. They were directions. Every step backward was placing you exactly where you needed to be, so that one day, when the time comes, you won't just step out. You will rise like a fire that cannot be put out. The chosen don't just rise, they are summoned. A calling from the unseen, from faraway heavens, echoing in your soul, saying, the time has come. And you have heard that call, haven't you? Not with your ears, but with your heart. Not as a loud noise, but as a quiet whisper that won't leave you alone. There is a stirring that keeps you awake at night, an invisible voice repeating, there is more. You were not born to live a mediocre life. You were chosen. You feel it. You know it. And now, the universe begins to shift. Doors that were once locked begin to open. Roads that were once blocked begin to clear. A new wind is blowing through your soul. But remember, being chosen does not mean you get a VIP pass to glory without a cost. Being chosen means you are sent into the battlefield. Look back. Those who had more advantages than you, more connections, more resources. Where are they now? How many have fallen? How many burned bright for a moment, then faded away? How many compromised and lost their soul? But you, though you stumbled, though you bled, you are still standing. You are still hearing the call. That means you were built to endure. You were prepared not just to shine for a moment, but to become a guiding light, a pillar that cannot be shaken. And now, this truth begins to unfold. Your time has come. The seal is broken. The door is open. The only question left is, are you ready to walk through it? If you still doubt, let me whisper this into your soul. You were never lost. You were simply walking a path that others could not see. Your tears were not wasted. They were the rain that nourished the seed waiting to break through. Your wounds were not failures. They were marks, proving you were strong enough to survive the fire. You are that seed. You are the light getting ready to break through the night. And when you rise, nothing will be able to put out your flame. Take a deep breath. Feel this calling in your heart. Believe that your difference is not a burden, but an honor. And remember this above all, you were chosen. You have heard the calling. You have known that you are different. But why did it take so many years? Why does your path seem longer, rougher than others? Maybe there were times when you thought, if only it had come earlier, if only I had seen the light years ago. But the truth is, you were never delayed. You were sealed. Think again about the image of the seed we spoke of. Not just for a few days, but sometimes for months or even years. It remains buried deep in the soil, where no eye can see. On the surface, everything looks still, as if nothing is happening. But inside, a quiet process is unfolding. The hard shell is cracking. Tiny roots are reaching down into the earth. Life is gathering strength. That seemingly silent time is actually the foundation for a powerful rising. And you are no different. Everything you thought was a delay was actually precise timing, carefully orchestrated by the universe. If you had been brought into the light too early, you would have met people who were not ready to understand you, stepped into opportunities that weren't mature enough, and most importantly, you would have shown up as a version of yourself that wasn't fully grown. And what would have happened? You would have destroyed yourself. But the universe never wastes strength. It never reveals its strongest card before the right season. You were kept in the dark, not to be forgotten, but to be protected from a light too harsh. Just like fine wine, the longer it's sealed and aged, the richer it becomes. The universe sealed you in the same way, so that when the time comes, you won't just appear, you will explode into fullness. Remember all the times you knocked, and no one answered. The moments you tried to squeeze through doors of opportunity, only to have them slam shut in your face. You felt rejected, you felt abandoned. But now you begin to see, that wasn't rejection, it was rescue. There are doors that, had you walked through too soon, would have changed who you are. Environments that would have diluted your soul. People who would have exploited your gifts. Timings that would have turned your potential into tragedy, not triumph. That is why you were hidden, until everything was aligned. But waiting is never easy. It makes you feel invisible. It forces you to watch others move ahead, while you're left behind. You've sighed before, wondering, why do they get shortcuts? Well, I have to walk this hard road. But in that very comparison, the universe was forging your patience, your endurance, and a quiet strength you didn't yet know you had. Look again. How many of those who once raced ahead still shine today? How many who had platforms and advantages are now burned out, lost, or broken? And yet here you are, even if delayed, even if you took the long way around, you are still standing. Because you were forged in fire, not comfort, like a sword crafted in blazing heat, plunged into cold water, then struck and reforged again. That process is not punishment. It is refinement. And when that sword is drawn from the fire, it is no longer just metal. It becomes a weapon nothing can break. You are that sword. Maybe you felt frozen, stuck in an endless cycle. But no, you were never standing still. You were in a sealed stage, like an instrument being tuned. And when the music plays, it will be loud and clear, because it was prepared through silence. And now, something inside you is shifting. A door that has been locked for years is starting to tremble from within. You no longer feel comfortable in what once felt familiar. You no longer want to stay in the small box that once made you feel safe. There is a restlessness, a stirring that has no name. That is not random. That is the sign the seal is being broken. Let me be clear. You are not late. You are hidden, not to be forgotten, but to rise at the right time. And that time is drawing near. If these words echo in your heart, if something inside you knows without a doubt that this message is for you, then trust that feeling. Don't doubt it. Don't let logic silence it. Because your soul knows, even if your mind hasn't caught up, the universe never makes mistakes. Yesterday, you may have felt lost. But today, as you hear this, you begin to understand that you are being prepared. And tomorrow, you will see even more clearly that the path never abandoned you. It was only waiting for you to grow strong enough to walk it. Your time is not delayed. It has been sealed. And that seal is beginning to break. You now understand that your time was never delayed. It was sealed for the right moment. But before the true door opens, there is always a stage that every chosen soul must walk through. The stage of isolation. No one can avoid it, and most who are not strong enough stop right there. Look back on your journey. Have the people you once believed would walk with you to the end now drifted away? Do the conversations that once excited you now feel like faint echoes? Do the places that once felt like home now seem small and heavy, like a worn-out garment you can no longer wear? If you're nodding, then you are in the right place. This is not punishment. It is the sacred separation your soul needs in order to be refined. The truth is, you no longer belong to the old. You no longer fit the spaces that once felt familiar. Your soul has begun to grow. And in order to grow, you must step out of the tight cocoon that once protected you. Like a young eagle, there comes a day when the nest is no longer a sanctuary, but a prison. And when that day comes, the mother eagle pushes her young out, not to harm it, but to force it to learn how to fly. The universe is doing the same with you, but I know this isolation truly hurts. There were moments you sat alone in a dark room, staring at familiar walls, asking yourself, did I do something wrong? Am I the problem? You may have even believed you were abandoned or forgotten. But please, remember this. Isolation is not abandonment. It is selection. You were not left behind. You were set apart. Ordinary people need comfort from the crowd, applause to keep going. But the chosen must learn how to stand alone. They must learn how to keep the fire burning when no one else is around. If you cannot endure the silence, you will never be strong enough to face the blinding light of destiny. The losses you have faced, broken friendships, shattered relationships, deep betrayals, they were not accidents. They were sacred blades, designed to cut away the ties that would have held you back, so you could rise without being pulled down. Some people you thought would stay, left as your energy changed. Not because they were bad, but because they belonged to an older version of you, a version that no longer exists. And when they walked away, it hurt. But understand this, it was alignment. Because to go further, you must carry less. Do you see now? Everything that once broke your heart was actually part of your training. Isolation is not a pit, it is a forge. In the silence of the night, you are being refined into a soul that no longer depends on others for validation. You no longer need applause to feel worthy. You learn to stand tall, even when no one stands with you. And it is in that moment that you become unshakable. There is a verse from the Bible that once echoed in me like a candle in the dark. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4. This means true joy doesn't come from the faces around you. It comes from a light deep within. When you learn to find joy in the one who called you, you are no longer tied to anyone else's approval. You become a fire that burns on its own, not a lamp that needs to be plugged in. And if you've made it this far, I know something in your heart is stirring, a sense of recognition, a silent nod. If you feel that, let it move beyond your heart. Let it become action. Like, share, and subscribe. Not just to stay connected to this energy, but to let this light reach other souls still trapped in the darkness of isolation. Because you never know, your small act of sharing could become the lamp for someone else sitting alone in a dark room like you once did. This is not a technical gesture. It is a spiritual act, your way of saying, I am not just listening, I am stepping in. You see, isolation is not meaningless. It is the place where you learn to look deeply into your own soul. It is the place where the calling becomes the clearest, because no noise remains to drown it out. It is where you rediscover your true identity, instead of chasing others' definitions. And one day, when the universe decides you are strong enough, still enough, grounded enough, the door will open. And when you walk through it, you won't be someone lost. You'll be a warrior, fully trained. Be patient with this phase. Don't rush to escape, because if you leave the forge too early, the sword will not be strong enough to fight. But if you stay just a little longer, if you allow yourself to be refined, then one day soon you will emerge as a weapon fully ready, unbreakable. So if you feel alone right now, smile. If those you loved have walked away, be grateful. If the world has gone silent, listen closely. Because it is in isolation that your soul is being reborn. After you pass through the stage of isolation, you begin to realize another truth. The real enemy was never outside. The betrayal, the closed doors, the judging eyes, they were just winds outside the wall. The real battle has always been inside your mind. That is the fiercest battlefield of all. Think about how many times you stood in front of an opportunity, but hesitated. Not because someone stopped you, but because of a small whisper in your mind saying, "I'm not good enough. I will fail. I'm not ready." How many mornings did you wake up with a burning dream, only to let it fade within seconds, drowned by waves of your own doubt? How many times did you come close to a breakthrough, only to turn back in fear, as memories of past failures pulled you down and chained your feet? That is the inner darkness, and that darkness is often more powerful than any outside enemy. Because you can see a betrayer, you can walk away from a closed door. But how do you walk away from thoughts that rise from your own mind? Imagine your mind as a deep forest. In the daytime, the light shines through, the path is clear, and you walk with confidence. But when night falls, the forest is still the same. The path is still there. Only the darkness makes you doubt, makes you afraid. Darkness doesn't change reality. It only takes away your trust. Your mind is the same. When your belief is strong, the path is clear. But when the darkness creeps in, you lose your way. Even if the road is still right beneath your feet, there are ghosts in your mind that do not belong to the present, but are echoes from the past, harsh words from childhood, past failures, moments of abandonment. These are scars that never fully healed, becoming voices that pull you backward. You think you are fighting the present, but in truth, you are replaying old wounds. Here is the truth you must know. You cannot step into a new destiny with an old mindset. If you don't take charge of your thoughts, even when the universe opens its greatest door, you will stand there, frozen, too afraid to walk through. I know you've said to yourself, if I weren't afraid, I could do it. But the truth is the opposite. You don't need fear to disappear before you move. You must move, even while fear is still trembling inside you. That is the only way to conquer the darkness in your mind. The chosen are not just called to defeat outside enemies. They must learn to conquer themselves. They must dare to look into the mirror that reflects their wounds, their doubts, and decide, I will not let the past define my future. Do you see now? The chains in your mind were never meant to hold you forever. They were like resistance bands, made to test your strength. The more you pull, the stronger you get. And one day, those bands snap. And you realize they were never strong enough to stop you. They were only strong enough to train your power to rise. This is the moment you must remember. If you master your mind, you will master your destiny. The darkness in your thoughts did not come to destroy you. It came to be conquered. It came to teach you how to walk in the night, so that when the light returns, you won't just walk, you will fly. There will be days when that voice whispers again, "You're not good enough. You don't deserve this." But remember, that's not the truth. That's an old echo, trying to drag you back to a place you've already left. You have the choice to listen and shrink, or to rise and become the version you were always meant to be. In the silence of prayer, I once remembered a verse from the Bible that lit up like a torch in the night. When I am afraid, I will trust in you. Psalm 50, 6-3. That line reminded me, fear is not the end. Fear is the chance to choose trust, to lift your foot and move forward, even when your heart is shaking. And strangely, it's when you move that fear disappears, because it never truly had power unless you gave it power. Pause for a moment. Look deep inside your heart. Do you hear those whispers of doubt? Do you feel old failures trying to return? If so, don't see them as enemies. See them as invitations. Invitations to rise, to step forward, to prove that your mind no longer rules over you. This battle won't be easy. There will be days you lose, nights you cry. But believe this, every time you face it and refuse to run, you are winning. Even if it's just one small step, and every step brings you closer to the day when no darkness in your mind can stop you. Remember, you don't need to be fearless to move. You only need to be brave enough to move while still afraid. And that courage will silence the darkness in your thoughts, like a small candle lighting up an entire room. So from this moment on, if an old voice rises in you, smile and say, "Thank you for testing me, but I am not who I used to be. I am walking forward, and nothing can stop me." After you have faced and conquered the darkness in your mind, the universe begins to shift. The doors that were once slammed shut now start to tremble, as if an invisible hand is slowly removing the locks. You feel a new energy rising, a calling more urgent than ever before. The door is open, but remember, no door in the universe opens without a price. Every door that leads to a higher level requires a cost, and this is the stage where many souls choose to stop. Can you see it? Just as you are about to move forward, the challenges intensify. You realize that to walk through the new door, you must leave behind many familiar things. You must part ways with people who once felt close, but now only reflect the older version of who you were. Not because they are bad, but because they could only walk with you for part of the journey. When you choose to soar higher, your energy changes, and that shift creates disconnection. Some will quietly fade away, some will grow distant, some may even turn against you, not because they hate you, but because your evolution makes them feel unsafe. But it's not just people. Even your habits, your preferences, your familiar routines become burdens. You once found comfort in procrastination, in small pleasures that numbed the emptiness, in seeking the approval of others. But now, standing at this new door, there is no room for any of it. They are like excess baggage. If you try to carry them with you, you will never make it through the narrow gate. The highest price is not external. It's within you. It's the letting go of your old identity, the version of you that once felt safe, once tried to shrink to fit into the world. That version no longer belongs. You must surrender the you of yesterday to step into the you of tomorrow. And that, more than anything, is painful. Imagine standing before a narrow doorway, with brilliant light shining on the other side. But the coat you're wearing is too thick. The backpack on your shoulders is too heavy. If you want to walk through, you must remove each layer. And every time you let go of something, your heart aches, because these were the things that once defined you. But if you try to hold on to them, you'll forever remain outside, watching the light you could have entered. There is a paradox that every chosen soul must face. When you are truly ready for something greater, you will feel the greatest sense of loss. The universe will ask you, are you willing to let go to receive? Are you willing to die to be reborn? And only those who dare to say yes will truly pass through. I know there will be nights when you lie awake, thinking about old memories, loved ones, habits that once comforted you. You will ask yourself, do I really have to leave it all behind? Your heart will bleed, because letting go is never easy. But remember this, the universe never takes without giving back. If you release, you will receive something new. If you hold on, you'll stay trapped in the old, like a snake shedding its skin to grow. The process is tight, painful, and leaves it vulnerable. But if it doesn't shed, it dies. And so must you let go of the old, even when it hurts, to become something stronger and more expansive. There is one question I want you to carry in your heart. Are you willing to lose your comfort in order to claim your calling? Because you cannot have both. Comfort keeps you where you are. Destiny calls you to a place you've never been. Remember, the price is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to prove that you are ready. If you want to rise, you must be lighter. If you want to walk in power, you must surrender the weaknesses you once protected. If you want to live a life that impacts others, you must let the version of you that only existed to survive fade away. And maybe right now, as you hear these words, something inside you is stirring. Maybe you're thinking of something you know you need to release, but are still holding on to. A relationship, a habit, a thought that no longer fits. And you know the time has come. Don't be afraid, because when you let go, the universe will replace it with something far greater. You may cry as you release. You may feel empty, but that emptiness will become the space where something new is born. And when you look back, you'll understand. Everything you let go of was never taken to hurt you. It was taken to set you free. Believe this. Beyond that door, another world awaits. A version of yourself is waiting for you. Stronger, brighter, no longer bound. And to meet that version, all you have to do is pay the price. To dare to move forward. To dare to let go. To dare to let the old die. Etch this into your heart. What you release today is the bridge that will carry you to where you truly belong. You have let go. You have paid the price to walk through the door. But remember, that door does not open into a paradise where everything automatically falls into place. It opens into a long hallway, a new path, where every step you take will decide whether you truly reach your destiny. And on that path, there is only one thing that keeps you standing strong: discipline. Do not mistake being chosen for automatic elevation. Being chosen is only the seed. Becoming elevated is the result. And between the seed and the result, there is always a bridge called discipline. No one can cross it for you. No prayer, no miracle can skip this stage. The universe does not reward potential. It does not hand out gifts for unformed dreams. The universe responds only to action. You can have 1,000 ideas, but if you do not take even the smallest step, they will vanish like smoke. How many people have dreamed, promised, told themselves someday, yet stayed still? And someday never came. The chosen must be different. You cannot just dream, you must act. And that action is not once, not twice, but daily, hourly, consistently, without stopping. Discipline is not an explosion of excitement. It is quiet endurance. It is choosing to keep going, even when no one is watching, no one is clapping, no one is validating. Imagine a suspension bridge hanging between two cliffs. One side is where you used to be, the comfort zone, the familiar place, but too small now. The other side is new territory, light, freedom, destiny. The bridge is long, narrow, and unsteady. If you want to cross, you cannot run. You must take steady steps, stay balanced, not let the winds of doubt and fatigue knock you over. That is discipline. Discipline is choosing to continue even when the feeling is gone, when the excitement fades but you still persist, when you're tired but you get back up, when the world tells you to quit, but you decide to take one more step. Each of those small steps may seem meaningless, but they are stitching together the very path that leads to your destiny. Maybe you've thought, if I were really chosen, the universe would bring everything to me. But the truth is, the universe doesn't do the work for you. It only opens the door. It arranges the opportunities. But you must walk through. You must take hold. You must labor, persevere, and stay disciplined. If not, every opportunity will slip away like sand through your fingers. Discipline is like fire. If you only light it when you feel inspired, it will burn out in the long nights. But if you consistently feed it, day after day, that fire becomes a steady flame, strong enough to warm, to light, to sustain a whole home. And your soul's fire is the same. I know there will be days when you wake up with no motivation at all. Nights when you look at your work and wonder, is this even worth it? On those days, your emotions will betray you. But discipline does not need emotions. It only needs commitment. And it is that commitment that separates those who say, I am chosen, from those who truly live as the chosen. You may have great talent, but if you don't sharpen it daily, it will rust. You may have big dreams, but if you don't act on them, step by step, they will rot in waiting. The world does not lack gifted people. It does not lack vision. What it lacks is souls with the discipline to turn vision into reality. There is a hard truth you need to hear. The universe may let you cry, may let you struggle, may let you endure long nights alone, and still not give you anything, until you prove that you are ready. And readiness is never a feeling. It is always an action. Ask yourself, can you keep going when no one cheers you on? Can you walk when everything inside you wants to stop? Can you stay consistent even when you see no results yet? If the answer is yes, then you are truly standing on the bridge to your destiny. And so you won't forget. Let these words echo in your soul. Whoever is faithful with little will also be faithful with much. Luke 16:10. Yes, discipline in the smallest daily actions is the proof that you are worthy of something greater. Remember, discipline does not destroy you. It is recreating you. It is turning dreams into reality. It is weaving the wings you need to truly fly. And one day, you will look back and realize every drop of sweat, every second of perseverance, every time you chose not to quit was another brick laid on the bridge that brought you home. So from today on, stop waiting for inspiration. Stop waiting for miracles. Stop waiting for someone to recognize you. Become your own miracle by choosing discipline, choosing perseverance, choosing to stay faithful to the path in front of you. Because only then will your calling to be chosen become the reality of being elevated. After you've learned discipline, after you've walked daily across the narrow bridge between two cliffs, something strange begins to happen. You start noticing signs, not just vague dreams or fleeting emotions, but clear, repeated signals, like pieces of a cosmic puzzle sent to awaken your soul. Do you remember those moments when you glanced at the clock and the hour and minute aligned perfectly? Do you recall thinking of someone, and just moments later, they called, or messaged you? Do you remember feeling restless and then suddenly hearing a phrase or reading a line that felt like it was written just for you? That is not coincidence. That is the universe speaking to you in the language of signs. The ordinary person may brush it off as chance, but you, the one who has walked through darkness, who has learned to listen in isolation, who has been forged through discipline, you know nothing is random. Everything is orchestrated. And then a number begins to appear in your life. The number 111. You see it on license plates, on clocks, on receipts, even in dreams. You may think it's just coincidence, but no. This number is the sacred stamp of a new beginning. It is confirmation from the universe that you've entered a new chapter, that the prayers you once whispered in solitude are being heard, that the door you once doubted is now truly open. 111 is a symbol of alignment. 3 ones standing side by side, like 3 candles lighting your path, like 3 pillars forming a gate, like 3 heartbeats echoing within you, whispering, the time has come. When you see 111, it's a message saying, you are not walking alone. You are being guided. This is not random. This is a divine sign. Ask yourself, have you been feeling more restless lately? Has your familiar life started to feel too small? And deep inside, you feel a growing fire saying, I was born for more? That is the sign you are stepping into your awakening. And 111 is the green light, the confirmation that the path ahead is real. Think about this. When you see that number, you can ignore it, or you can look straight at it and say, I understand. The universe never shouts. It only whispers. And the chosen ones are those who are awake enough to hear the whisper. You may wonder, if 111 is a sign for me, what should I do when I see it? The answer is simple. Stop, take a deep breath, and affirm within yourself, I am ready for a new beginning. I am not turning back. This affirmation brings the sign to life. Because a sign is only an invitation, you must be the one who answers. And right now, I want you to do one small but deeply spiritual act. If you've ever seen 111, or if right now your soul feels the pull of a new beginning, write that number in the comments, not for decoration, not for show, but as a sacred confirmation to your own soul, that you've heard the call and you are ready. That comment is not for me, it's for you. It's your public contract with yourself. I step into the new chapter. I step into 111, because here's the truth. The universe only responds when you dare to confirm. If you hear the call but stay silent, the door may remain open, but you will stand outside. If you hear the call and respond, the door will open wider. 111 is the key to unlock divine alignment, and your confirmation is the hand that turns the key. Remember, signs never come to those who are asleep. They only appear when you are awake enough to see. And if you're reading these words, it means your soul has entered a new phase. You are no longer just existing. You are being awakened. You are no longer living by instinct. You are being guided by an invisible hand. Awakening is not a dramatic explosion. It's a process, beginning with small, persistent signs, a passing phrase, a repeating number, a coincidence that seems trivial but makes you pause. These pieces come together to reveal a bigger picture. You are being called to step out of the old dream, to live with awareness, to become the version of yourself you were always meant to be. From today, let your eyes open wider. Pay attention to what seems small. Let your heart become more sensitive, because the universe is constantly speaking to you. And when 111 appears, smile, whisper to yourself, I have seen it, I have heard it, I understand. Because that number is a sacred code sent just for you. 111, the number of a new beginning. 111, confirmation you are on the right path. 111, the signal that the dream you once kept hidden is now being unlocked. Let that number become your lighthouse through the dark seas, guiding you to the shore of light. And don't forget, by commenting that number, you are planting a seed of action. So every time you see it again, your soul will remember. This was the day I chose not to sleep anymore. This was the day I stepped into my new beginning. You've seen the signs. You've recognized the number 111 as a sacred code awakening your soul. And then you begin to walk with a strange new feeling. You are no longer the same person, yet in the midst of this transformation, your heart may still whisper a quiet loneliness. Do I have to walk this whole path alone? The answer is no. You were chosen to walk a different path, but you were never destined to rise in isolation. The universe has its own way of bringing soul companions into your life. Not too early, not too late, but precisely at the moment when you are ready and awake enough to recognize them. Do you remember the season of isolation? When those you once trusted walked away? When places that once felt familiar became suffocating? When it seemed the world had turned its back? None of that was meant to leave you forever alone. It was a filtering process, clearing out shallow, false connections to prepare the way for true ones. Now, you'll begin to meet strange, beautiful people. They may be total strangers, yet when you speak, it feels like you've known them forever. You won't have to explain yourself. They'll understand you in the silent spaces where words cannot reach. Conversations with them won't circle around surface things, but dive deep into soul questions, cosmic truths, and spiritual mysteries. Each exchange would be like a mirror, revealing parts of your soul you've never seen before, and you'll realize something powerful. These people don't drain your energy, they lift it. Unlike past connections, where you had to struggle, sacrifice, or shrink to maintain them, these soul companions bring strength, clarity, and even responsibility. They won't let you slip back into a smaller version of yourself. They'll remind you of who you really are. There's a verse from the Psalms that once said, "Behold, how good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell in unity." Psalm 133:1. That's not just poetry, that's confirmation. When your soul connects with kindred souls, a harmony is created, and the universe smiles. Remember, their arrival is no accident. While you were being refined, they were too. While you were shedding the old, they were stepping out of their own darkness. While you endured isolation, they walked through their own silent nights. And now, as all the pieces align, the universe has arranged your paths to cross. You may be surprised, even hesitant. You've grown used to standing alone. So when someone reaches out, your heart might ask, "Can I trust this?" But soon you'll sense this trust is different. This is not the blind trust that once brought pain. This is trust born from soul recognition. Your soul will recognize theirs, like two flames separated long ago, now reunited to burn brighter together. Pay attention to how your heart feels when you meet them. You won't feel drained. You'll feel recharged. You won't feel the need to prove your worth, because you'll be seen for who you truly are. You won't feel the need to shrink, because your light doesn't threaten them. It inspires them to shine too. This is your soul family, not bound by blood, but by sacred frequency. They don't come to replace you, but to walk beside you, to challenge you, to lift you. They'll remind you to rise when you're tired. They'll call you forward when you hesitate. They'll shine light when you lose your way. And let me be clear, you don't have to find them through desperation. You don't have to chase them down. When you truly walk your path, when you stay faithful to the journey you've been called to, the universe will bring them to you. They may appear in a class, on a trip, or even through a random online conversation. But when they come, you will know. Not with your mind, but with something deeper. A knowing in your heart. The chosen cannot rise in solitude forever. One lamp may light up a room, but many lamps together can light an entire city. And that's what the universe is preparing. A network of lights, soul companions, rising together to illuminate a new era. So, if you've read this far and feel a stirring within you, know this: you are not alone. You have been and are being guided closer to these souls. And perhaps, when you open your heart, when you allow yourself to trust again, you'll be surprised to find they were already here, just waiting for you to become awake enough to see. Open your heart. Be ready. Because from this moment forward, your journey is no longer just about I. It becomes we. And within that sacred companionship, you will discover a strength you never knew you had. You've begun to recognize your soul companions, those who don't drain you, but ignite a new strength within you. Yet as you step closer into the light, you will come to a staggering realization. All the pain, betrayal, and loss you've endured were never random. They were calculated strikes, aimed directly at you, because you are a threat to the darkness. Look back. How many times were you on the edge of a breakthrough, only to be hit by an unexpected storm that shattered everything? How many times did you place all your trust in someone, only for that person to be the one who broke you the most? How often did you think you could finally rest, only to be swept into yet another battle? If this feels familiar, then you must understand. You've been in a spiritual war for a long time. You just didn't realize it. The forces of darkness knew who you were long before you did. They saw your light from the very beginning. And that is why every strike was aimed at you. They don't waste time on souls who compromise easily or drift through life asleep. They target those whose power can shift the balance. And you are one of them. You may have asked yourself, why do I suffer more than others? Why are my wounds so deep? Now you know the answer. Because the enemy recognized your potential before you did. If you were just a small flicker, darkness wouldn't care. But because you are a flame capable of igniting 1,000 others, every force against light has tried to extinguish you. But here's what they didn't expect. You're still here. You were not destroyed. You've endured every attack, and instead of fading, you've become stronger. Every fall didn't bury you. It deepened your foundation. Every betrayal didn't break you. It opened your eyes to what is real. Every loss didn't erase you. It shaped you into a soul no longer afraid of lack. Others may look at you and see scars, but the universe looks at you and sees a warrior. Because everything that was designed to destroy you has forged you into someone unshakable. Imagine a sword, placed on the anvil, hammered over and over again. Each blow seems merciless, but it's those very strikes that shape it into something sharp and unbreakable. The enemy thought they were breaking you, but they were unknowingly contributing to your making. And now that the sword is formed, you are no longer raw metal. You are a weapon that cannot be bent. There are days when it feels like the whole world is against you. But remember, without those battles, you would never have discovered your true strength. Without the betrayals, you would never have learned how to place your trust wisely. Without the losses, you would never have found true joy in simply being, rather than clinging to what was outside of you. And here is the great paradox. Those very attacks are proof that you are dangerous to darkness. If you didn't matter, no effort would have been made to take you down. Your very presence in this spiritual battlefield is evidence that you carry a power strong enough to shift the world around you. But now, the tides have turned because you survived. And once you recognize the game, you can no longer be played. Darkness no longer holds power over a soul that sees through its strategy. It may scream, it may threaten. But now you know, true power never belonged to it. It's always been in your hands, and in the hands of the one who chose you from the beginning. Etch this truth into your soul. Your very existence is proof the enemy failed. Every breath you still draw, every step you still take, is a blow to the forces of darkness. And when you fully step into your light, when you truly claim your power, you will no longer live just for yourself. You will become living proof that every attack was useless. Look back on everything you've been through. You once thought it would break you, but now you see it made you wiser. It made you stronger. It sharpened your vision. You walk now with eyes wide open. You were not easily deceived. You were not easily broken. And that is the real victory. So from this day forward, stop asking, why did this happen to me? Instead, say, thank you, because everything that tried to destroy me became what built me. This is not blind optimism. This is spiritual truth. This is evidence that the universe was always on your side, even when darkness gave its all to crush you. Remember, these attacks were never personal. They were strategic. But now that you see through them, they hold no power. Because once light has been lit, nothing can put it out. You've come to understand the truth. The pain, betrayal, and loss of your past were never random. They were strategic attacks. And it is because of them that you have been forged into someone unshakable. But the journey of the soul doesn't stop there. Because now, one of the greatest challenges awaits you, to completely let go of your old self. This is the defining moment. You may have overcome external darkness. You may have triumphed over inner storms. But if you still cling to your old identity, the beliefs, habits, and roles that once defined you, you won't be able to step into the next level. Your old identity may have once been a refuge. It gave you a sense of safety, a sense of, I know who I am. But the truth is, that identity has now become a chain. It keeps you bound to a smaller, hesitant, fearful version of yourself. And now, the universe is pushing you to a crossroads. Either let the old self die or remain stuck forever. Look deeply at your life. Do the things you once loved no longer bring joy? Do the places you once felt at home now feel suffocating? Do your old dreams suddenly seem too small for the new hunger rising inside you? These aren't signs of confusion. They are reminders that an old version of you is fading away. The discomfort you feel is the process of shedding. Like a caterpillar preparing to become a butterfly, you must enter the narrow cocoon. You must dissolve the old form entirely. It's painful, chaotic, and feels like an ending. But in truth, it's the beginning. And so it is with you. In this phase, you may feel restless, anxious, even lost. You may ask, why don't I want the things I used to? Why do I feel like a stranger in familiar places? But take heart, this is not loss. This is rebirth. You are not losing yourself. You are finding your true self, the one you are always meant to be. And in this exact phase, the prophetic number 777 often appears. You may see it on receipts, on clocks, or in unexpected places. This is no coincidence. 777 is the number of soul awakening, deep transformation, and divine revelation. When you see 777, it's a confirmation that you are walking through the gateway of sacred transformation. It is a sign that you are not just changing on the outside. Your soul is shedding its roots to rise even higher. 777 is like 3 mountain peaks stacked together, 3 layers of awakening, 3 affirmations that you are entering wholeness. It is a message. Trust, you are on the right path. The old is dying, but the new is being born. And when you see this number, pause, breathe deeply, and whisper in your heart, I am ready to release the old and step into the light. But be honest with yourself. This release is not easy. It feels like letting a part of you die. There will be sorrow. There will be pain. Because the old self, as limited as it was, once sheltered you. It helped you survive hard seasons. But remember, it was only the boat that brought you across the river. Now that you've reached the other side, you must let it go, or stay stuck forever. Many souls stop here. They want the new, but fear letting go of the old. They cling to expired relationships. They hold on to habits that have run dry. They're afraid to leave the safety of what they've outgrown, even as it rots. And because of that, they remain stuck in cycles of dissatisfaction. But you are different. You are called to cross over. You are invited to die and be reborn. You are chosen to be the proof that true transformation is real. There is a powerful image in Scripture. Unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. You are the same. If you cling to the old, you merely survive. But if you dare to let it die, a new life will emerge from you, one full of light, power, and purpose. So ask yourself, are you ready to let the old version of you fade away? Can you look directly at the beliefs, habits, and roles that no longer fit and say, thank you for bringing me this far, but your journey ends here? Can you allow the old self to die so that your true self may rise? Let the number 777 be your daily reminder. Each time you see it, remember, you are not dying, you are awakening, you are not losing, you are becoming. And trust this, the version of you waiting on the other side will be stronger, brighter, and more free than anything you've ever imagined. After your old identity has died, after the number 777 has echoed as a sacred mark of awakening, you can no longer live as you once did. A new chapter has opened, and with it, a great responsibility has been placed upon your shoulders. This is not an easy path. In fact, it is a burden that only the strongest souls are able to carry. When you are chosen, your life is no longer just about you. Every action, every decision, even your presence carries a weight far beyond yourself. You are a link in a long chain of soul history, the one called to break invisible chains that bound generations before you, and the one sent to open the way for those who come after. There are people who were born simply to live, to exist, to find fleeting joy in the temporary. But you are not one of them. You do not have the luxury of mediocrity. The universe has not allowed you the comfort of unconsciousness. Your eyes have been opened, and you can no longer pretend to be blind. This may feel unfair at times. You look around and see people living lightly, unbothered in their ignorance, and a part of you might wish, if only I could be like them. But remember, ignorance comes with a price, the price of permanent smallness. They may live lightly, but they will never touch greatness. You, on the other hand, were chosen to carry weight, to rise, to endure, because you have the capacity. Listen to what the Psalm says. The Lord says, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. This is the difference. Others may wander down familiar paths, but you, every step of yours is watched, guided. You are not random. You are being trained, tested, refined, because you are called to lead. This responsibility is not just a privilege, it is a weight. There will be nights when you want to quit, but then you'll remember, if you stop, others will fall too. Souls who are waiting for you to open the way. There will be days you feel exhausted, but then you'll hear a whisper saying, you do not live just for yourself. You live for those who will be set free through you, and you will rise again. You are the one carrying the mission to break cycles. In your family, perhaps for generations, the same wounds have been passed down. Poverty, pain, silence, compromise. But with you, that cycle must end. You are the one who stands and says, it stops here. And because of you, future generations will no longer carry those chains. But to do this, you must live differently. You cannot allow yourself to fall into the ease that others choose. You cannot close your eyes to truths you've already seen. You cannot accept mediocrity when your heart knows you were born for greatness. This responsibility demands that you rise above the crowd. And yes, sometimes this will make you feel alone again. But remember, this is the mark of divine separation. A leader always walks ahead. The distance between you and the crowd is not because you are lost. It's because you are clearing the path. You may not yet see the impact you're making. You may think, I'm just one person. How can I change anything? But remember, even the smallest candle breaks the darkness in a room. And when you keep that flame alive, your light will spread, inspire, and reach people you never imagined. This responsibility also comes with the watchful eyes of the universe. While others may drift, you will be called back. While others may lose their way for years, you will be corrected quickly. While others walk in darkness unaware, you will feel the weight of even the smallest misalignment, because your soul will not let you betray your calling. This may feel exhausting, but it's also proof that you are not walking alone. The eyes of the one who chose you are always upon you, not to control, but to guide, to protect you from falling too far. This is not restraint. It is sacred love. So from today forward, carry your responsibility with pride. Don't see it as a burden. See it as your crown. Yes, the crown is heavy, but it is the sign that you have been chosen. And if your shoulders feel the weight, it's because you are wearing what others were not strong enough to carry. The responsibility of the chosen is not an invitation to fear. It is a reminder to stand tall, to know that your life carries meaning, to never forget that every step you take echoes further than you know. You have walked through long nights of isolation. You have learned to face the darkness in your mind. You've let go of the old self. You have accepted the responsibility the universe placed on your shoulders. And now a new chapter opens before you. The chapter of rising up, the chapter of new power. This is no longer the time for simply hearing the call. It is time to step into it, with all the certainty of a soul that has been refined. You can feel this change in your heart. No more trembling when thinking of the future. Instead, there is a strange peace. No more whispers in your mind saying, you are not good enough. Instead, there is a resounding certainty. I am ready. And the miracle is, when you change the way you see yourself, the world around you begins to change too. You are no longer someone who seeks recognition. You are no longer someone afraid of being left behind. You are no longer a small soul swept by storms. You are a lighthouse, standing firm, shining for other vessels. You no longer beg for doors to open. You move forward, you reach for the door handle, and you open it with the power you have carried for long. The path ahead may still be full of challenges, but now, those challenges no longer terrify you, because you know they are part of the journey of rising. You know each storm is not to drown you, but to forge your wings stronger. You know each step backward is only momentum for a greater leap, and you know you never walk alone, because the universe and your soul family walk with you. Let this final psalm be your sacred seal, a blessing for the new path. The Lord will fight for you, and you must be still. Exodus 14:14, also echoed in Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. These are not just words, they are a promise. They remind you that in every coming battle, you do not fight alone. There is a greater power, a stronger hand fighting for you, and you only need to keep your heart steady. This is your new power. The power of freedom, the power of awareness, the power of knowing you are chosen, and nothing can stop you. You do not need to wait any longer. You do not need to prove anymore. Now you just need to step in, stand strong, and live as the radiant soul you have always been. Imagine this. From a small seed buried underground, you rose above the soil, grew tall, and now you begin to bloom. Your journey is not over. But from here on, you walk not with a heart of doubt, but with a heart full of faith. No longer a survivor, you are a victor. No longer a soul still searching, you are a soul who has found yourself. And now, let me ask you this. Are you ready to enter your new power? If your heart is echoing, yes, do not let it remain inside. Confirm it by action. Comment below. I am ready. Let the universe hear it. Let your soul record it. Let the community of chosen ones see you and know that they are not alone. If these words have touched you, if you feel in your heart a movement, spread it. Like, share, subscribe. Not just to stay connected, but to send this message to another soul who is also waiting for an awakening. You never know. A small action of yours today may become the spark that saves someone sitting in darkness. This is not just a story. This is affirmation. This is a call. This is alignment. And if you are still here reading these final lines, know this. The universe is speaking directly to you. You are chosen. You are called. And your moment is now. Step into your new power. Stand firm. Speak loud. Live as a living proof that light always wins over darkness. And remember, you have never walked alone. Your journey ends here, but also begins here. The old identity has died. The new version has been born. And now you walk no longer with doubt, but with the power of being chosen. The universe stretches out its arms. The only question left is, will you step in? Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.